Hello, good day. Welcome to our web class. This is Teacher Jeans. We will be discussing your Module 5 to 6 topic for your organization and management subject. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to be able to discuss the nature and levels of planning and types of plans, and also apply appropriate planning techniques and tools in business decision making. So what is planning? It is the most fundamental function of the management. It is the basic process of setting up goals to be reached and course of action to be followed. So it is in fact a prerequisite. So it's supposed to have a here prerequisite to effective management. So planning now is a process of thinking before doing. So we have already been introduced to the 5 essential functions of a manager, which is planning, organizing, staffing, leading, and controlling. So this is also considered as a conceptual framework of the management. So again, it is the most fundamental function of management. It is the process by which managers establish goals, define methods, and think of strategies by which these goals are to be attained. So according to Weirich and Cons, planning involves selecting missions and objectives and the actions to achieve them. So it requires decision making, which is choosing from among future alternative course of action. So another definition from human. So if planning is deciding in advance. So what needs to be done? That is a plan in a projected course of action. So planning is thinking ahead as to the future course of action. So it is also acceptable to say that planning is a process of thinking before doing. So one of the known individual, who is Henry Fayol, defines planning as deciding the best alternatives among others to perform different managerial operations to achieve the predetermined goals. So management has to plan for a long-range and short-range future direction by looking ahead into the future and by estimating and evaluating the future behavior of the environment. Plans have two basic components, so goals and action plans. So again, first goals, then the second one is the action plan. Goals represent an end statement, the targets and results that managers hope to achieve, while the action plans represent the means by which an organization goes ahead to attain its goals. So planning is not an easy task, no? So it involves intellectual thinking and mental activity to be able to plan effectively. So the nature of planning can be highlighted as follows. So planning is goal oriented. So a manager cannot do planning unless the goal is specified. Then planning is futuristic in nature, so it means looking ahead. And then planning exists in all managerial activities, so it is a primary function of managers at all levels. And planning is not a guessword, it is based on facts and information. And of course, planning is flexible, so it is a dynamic, no, in a process capable of adjustments by the need and requirement of the situation. So I include here the list of the objectives of planning. So um, here are some: to focus attention on objective and results, to reduce uncertainty and change, to provide sense of direction, to encourage innovation and creativity, to help in coordination, to guide decision making, to provide a basis for decentralization, to provide economy in operation, and of course, to facilitate control. Planning is a part of management concerned with creating procedures, rules, and guidelines for achieving a stated objective. So, planning is carried out, and managers need to create broad objectives and mission statements as well. So, these are the three types of plans used by management um, in order to um, focus no in making planning. So types of plan, you have first strategic plan. So this plan is a high level overview of the entire business. So it's vision, mission, corporate objectives, and values. So this plan also is the foundational basis of the organization and will form part of the long-term decision. So the scope of this plan can be 2, 3, 5, or even 10 years. So managers at every level will turn to the strategic plan to guide their decisions. So it will also influence the culture within the organization and how it interacts with the customers. So therefore, the strategic plan must be forward-looking and flexible. So this this type of plan answer the question what. Okay, so the components of strategic plans, we have vision, mission, and values. So when we say vision, so this is how the company wants to be envisioned. And mission, it is a more realistic overview of the company's aim and ambitions. And of course, the values, so this answers the question, how do you want to inspire the world, or how do you want to be known? Okay, so vision, it's for example, um, where will you be in the next 5 years? In mission, what will you do to be in that position in the next 5 years? Okay, in tactical plan, it describes the tactics the organization plans to use to achieve the ambitions outlined in the strategic plan. So it is a short range, say less than 1 year, a low-level document that breaks own broader mission statements into smaller and actionable chunks. So this answers the question how. This one answers the question what. Next, aside of this definition of the tactical plan, this specifically focuses on coming out with specific deadlines, timetables, budget, the resources, the person responsible for the project and marketing, the funding, and etc. Then we have the last one. We have the operational plan. So this operational plan describes the day-to-day running of the company. Okay, this charts out a roadmap to achieve the tactical goals within the time frame. So this plan is highly specific with an emphasis on short-term objectives. So creating the operational plan is a responsibility of the low-level managers and supervisors. So an operational plan can either be single-use plans or ongoing plans. So when we say single-use plans, um, this is created or events or activities with a single occurrence, such as sales rally, a marketing campaign, recruitment drive, and etc. So single-use plans tend to be highly specific. And when we say ongoing plans, so these plans can be used in multiple settings on an ongoing basis. So it could be a policy, a set of rules or procedures, and can be changed or repeated as required. So let's move on to the planning at different levels in the firm. So an organization can have many different managers across different levels, positions, levels of authority, and hierarchy. So in any organization, managers are on top of their subordinates. So they carry out plans through the support of their staff. So here, we will discuss planning at different levels in the firm. So most organizations have three management levels. So first, we have the top level managers. So these are the corporate managers. Then the middle level managers. We have the tactical managers and the frontline managers, or what we call the operational managers. So these managers perform different tasks by their level of authority in the organization hierarchy. So in many organizations, the number of managers in every level resembles a pyramid like this. Okay? So for the top level managers, so these are the chairperson, the board of director, the president, the CEO, the CFO, the COO, the vice president, and corporate head. So these managers are responsible for controlling and overseeing the entire organization. So they are the ones, okay, so they are the ones who the firm, they play a significant role in the mobilization of outside resources. So they have, of course, a great deal of managerial experience. So most of them have an advanced degree such as Masters in Business Administration. Others have been groomed and trained and moved up from the ranks and are part of the succession planning for high potential management trainees. And they do not direct the day-to-day activities of the firm. So rather, they set goals, leads the entire company to achieve the goals set. And the goals, vision, mission of the firm is apparently set to the entire firm as a guide in achieving the set goal. And next, we have the middle level managers. So um, they are those in the level of the below top managers. So their job titles include general manager, regional manager, division manager, and plant manager. So they are responsible for carrying out the goals set by the top management. So they do so by setting goals for their departments and other business units. So middle managers motivate and assist the first line managers to achieve business objectives, and also they may communicate upward. Okay, so they may communicate upward and by offering suggestions, feedback to the top executives, because these middle level managers are more involved in the day-to-day working of a company. So they may provide valuable information to the top managers to help improve the organization's bottom line. So they execute organizational plans in conformance with the company policies and objectives, and they also define and discuss information from top management to lower management. So they are just like bridge, okay? And they also motivate and guides these low-level managers towards better performance. And in planning, no, in planning, they implement effective group or intergroup work and information systems. So they monitor group level performance indicators, diagnose and resolve problems within and among work groups. So they design and implement reward system. And of course, we have the low-level managers, or what we call the frontline managers. So they are the supervisors, you know. So these managers have job titles such as office manager, department manager, store manager, or supervisor. So these managers focus on controlling and directing. So they are responsible for the daily management of line workers or the employees. So although lower level managers do not set goals for the organization, they have an unyielding influence on the company. So these are the managers that most employees interact with on a daily basis. If the manager's performance is poor, then employees may also perform poorly. Okay, so they cascade. Okay, they cascade the goals among their subordinate to be carried out specifically, and it is at this level of management wherein daily activities is being supervised and monitored, so ensuring the quality of work and reproduction is being done, and evaluation of course is implemented. And there are planning tools and techniques. Okay, so these are being used by the organizations, schools, businesses, and the like. So, however, the discussion will be limited only to the three commonly used tools, namely the brainstorming, the fishbone diagram, and the Gantt chart. Okay. So let's define brainstorming. It is a group creativity technique by which efforts are made to find a conclusion for a specific problem by gathering a list of ideas spontaneously contributed by its members. So brainstorming is usually the first crucial creative stage of the project management and planning process. So it is a powerful technique that draws out ideas from a group of people. So it creates new ideas, solves problems, motivates, and develops the teams. And brainstorming motivates because it involves a member of a team in a bigger management issues, and it gets the team working together. So however, bear in mind that brainstorming is not just merely a random activity. It needs to be structured and must follow brainstorming rules. Okay, so in brainstorming, everyone must be able to see the total picture of the whole scenario so that each will have a substantial contribution of ideas. Brainstorming places a significant burden on the facilitator who manage the process. There may be a challenge on the involvement and sensitiveness of the individual participant. So here is the brainstorming process. First, you have to define and agree on the objective. Then you have to brainstorm ideas and suggestions, having agreed a time limit. Okay, this is very important. And then you have the categories, condense, combined, or you have to refine. Then, of course, assess. You have to analyze the effects or the result. Then prioritize options or rank. Okay, they list appropriate and agree on action and time frame. And then you have to control, you have to monitor, and of course you have to follow up. Next, we have fishbone diagram. So just like this, okay, I know that we have seen a fishbone. So this is also called cause and effect diagram and Ishikawa diagram. So this is named after Kaoru Ishikawa, no, a Japanese professor who specializes in industrial quality management and engineering, who devised the technique in the 1960s. So Ishikawa diagram became known as fishbone diagram because obviously it looks like a fish bone. Okay, so it has a central spine running left to right, so opposite lang ni siya, no? So left to right, around which is built a map of factors which contribute to the final result or problem. So for each item, the main categories of factors are identified as shown in the main bones led into the spine. Okay, so again, it has a central spine running left to right. And this one left to right. Okay, cause, here the cause and effect. Okay, so although fishbone diagrams are being used in quality management, fault detection, and in business process involvement, especially in manufacturing and production companies, still, the model is also a very useful in a project management planning and task management. So fishbone diagram are fishbone diagrams, I mean, are excellent for resources, no? So these are excellent in the identifying hidden factors which can be significant in enabling larger activities, no? Or as I've said, resources areas or parts of a process. So um, fishbone diagrams are not useful for scheduling or showing time-critical elements, okay? So at a simple level, the fishbone diagram is a very effective planning model and tool, especially for mapping an entire operation, not on the scheduling. So some fishbone diagram can be very complex, which is common in specialized management areas, especially where systems are computerized, okay? Then we have the Gantt chart, okay? So these are extremely useful project management tools. This is named after the US engineer and consultant Henry Gantt, okay? So um, Henry Gantt was the person who devised the technique in the 1910s, okay? Um, then these are excellent models for scheduling and budgeting and for reporting, presenting, and communicating project plans. Okay, so you can construct a Gantt chart using Microsoft Excel or a similar spreadsheet. And every activity has a separate line just like this one. Task 1, this task 2, task 3, task 4, and task 5. So create a timeline for the duration of the project. For example, for this task 1, it's for the month of September. So you can use color coding just like this for some other activities. And Gantt charts are probably the most flexible and useful project management tools at the planning stage and for large, complex projects, okay? So here is an example, another example of a Gantt chart. So you have to do planning, research, design, implementation, and follow up. So it has also a timeline as to when to accomplish this one. And do not forget that management is a decision making. So the job of manager is to come up with a sound decision based on the facts, tools, information, data, experience, the knowledge that he is equipped. Okay, so um, decision making is defined as a process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and assessing alternative resolution. So the decision, therefore, is a choice. Okay. However, the conclusion or the said choice is not just based on intuition and one person's idea in the management. It should be based on the gathered facts. Okay, so one of the competencies that a manager should have is the ability to make a sound decision. And thus, decision making is a core. Okay, this is the core of the managerial activities in an organization. And so we have here the steps in decision making. First, you have to identify the problem. So realizing what is there to make decisions for is very important. So decisions are not made arbitrarily. They result from an attempt to address a specific problem, need, or opportunity. Next, you have to seek information. Okay, you have to seek information. So what is the potential cause of the problem? And managers must seek out information to clarify options once the problem have been identified. And you have the brainstorm solution. So you have to list out potential solutions. And then you have to choose an alternative. So managers weigh the pros and cons of each potential solution. Okay, so they seek additional information if needed and select the option they feel has the best chance to succeed at the least cost, okay? And then implement plan. Of course, there is no more time to guess second, okay? So, um, again, there is no more time to guess second yourself once you put your decision into action. So you get all your employees and bring your decision into action. And lastly, of course, you have to evaluate outcomes. Even the most experienced business owners can learn from their mistakes, right? Do you agree? Always monitor the result of your strategic decision. So be ready to adapt your plan as necessary or to switch to another potential solution if the chosen one does not work as you expected. So that's all for your week 5 and week 6. See you in our next web class. Thank you.